Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is James Lovell. I'm with the Harris County Tax Office for voter registration. I'm here on behalf of Annette Ramirez. We're going to talk about voter registration for your area. We want to make sure that you guys are all aware for the upcoming elections. We'll get you excited, get you a plan in order so that you can go out and get registered to vote and then go ahead and take a part in voting. So let's talk about the tax office real quick. Our services is we do vehicle registration for the county, property taxes, voter registration, other things as far as like coin operated machines, alcohol and beverage machines. So yes, we definitely cover a lot, but today we'll be talking about voter registration where we register eligible voters. We have voter outreach such as myself, and we also facilitate the volunteer deputy registrar program, which allows people like you to go out and help with voter registration in Harris County. Our offices have a new change of hours, so we're Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We are closed on Wednesdays, weekends, and recognized holidays. So yes, for voter registration, the stats are that we have 2.7 million registered voters as of today, with the records showing as of 5 million. So that's roughly about 54% of registered voters at this time. So yes, we're doing great. We're getting those numbers up. From where I started back in 2023, we have jumped significantly from 2.4 to 2.7 million. So yes, we are getting our people registered to vote in Harris County, and that will be people like you. So thank you for you guys for getting registered to vote if you have already done so. So for Commissioner Precinct 2, yes, we have about 500,000 people registered to vote in Precinct 2. This is the area that we're in Channelview, the area that we're in Pasadena. So all this east side of Harris County, right here is Precinct 2. So yes, you make up about 20% of Harris County registered voters. You see the different age groups there. Your age group would be the 18 to 24 with 56,000 people registered to vote. So yes, you guys play such a vital role in making sure people get registered to vote, people who have them represented. Make sure you either support or oppose different propositions that come up. So you really do have a strong voice in Harris County elections. And I want to make sure that while we're here today, that you understand why it's important and that you can go and absolutely have your voices heard come in these upcoming elections. We want to make sure for 2026 you vote in every single election that you possibly can. It is important. So voting allows our voices to be heard through the democratic process. We are able to make these changes or prevent changes to the country, state, city, and communities through voting. And in the steps to voting, we become more informed. That's where it is important, is that you actually become informed about your communities, informed about these changes, so that you can actually have a decisive matter in your voting. Now, eligibility requirements for voter registration in Texas. You have to be a citizen of the United States, at least 17 years and 10 months old, and will be 18 years of age by election day. Has not been determined by a final judgment of a court exercising probate jurisdiction to be totally mentally incapacitated or partially mentally incapacitated without the right to vote. And is not like finally convicted of a felony, or if a felon must have completed all of the punishment, including any term of incarceration, parole, supervision, or period of probation, or must have been pardoned, otherwise released from the resulting disability to vote. So yes, you have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to be at least 17 years and 10 months old to register to vote, and you'll have to be 18 years of age to actually vote in an election. You have to be not determined by a court of being not sound mind. So yes, not of sound mind. And then you have to have any unresolved felony convictions have to be done with. So yes, the term that we use is off paper. You have to be done with everything as far as any felonious convictions. So yes, make sure when you go out, you make sure you get your applications filled out. There'll be some here at the school. They'll be at the libraries. You can even go visit a tax office and fill out a voter registration form. So you have a blank form, you need a blue or black ink pen, and you need one of those three things to fill out a registration. You don't need all of them, but you need one of the three, which is a driver's license, your ID number, or the last four digits of your social security number. So make sure you fill one of those three things out whenever you go and fill out an application. That way we know who this is tied to. So yes, whenever you're filling out an application, there's certain things to know as far as whenever you make sure you fill out this as much as humanly possible. There's only two optional sections, and that is the gender and the telephone number. Everything else may be filled out to some degree. So if you're a first-time voter, or your first time filling out a voter registration application, you will check the box for new application. If you're updating your information, say you're moving addresses, you've recently got married or changed your name, or you'd like to update any information on your voter registration, you will check the box for change of address, name, or other information. And if you happen to misplace or lose your voter registration certificate, you can then go ahead and request that replacement card by checking the box there. You'll check yes to are you a United States citizen and will you be 18 years of age on or before election day? So yes, if you're 17 years and 10 months, you will check yes in those boxes. And then are you interested in serving as an election worker? That's optional. You can definitely check yes or no. We just need to know. We'll send you some more information about it if you'd like to become one, and we'll even talk a little about it later in this presentation. Next thing will be the full legal name. So it has to be last name, first name, middle if any, former if any. We need to know who you are so that way we get accurately registered to vote. Your residence address. This is where you live in Harris County. We need your full residence address here. We need your house number. We need your street. We need whether it's a drive, circles, boulevard, avenue, the city, the county being Harris, and then the zip code tied to that address. Your mailing address, this is where you want to receive your voter registration certificate. If it is the same as your residence address, you can go ahead and leave it blank. But if you have a different address where you accept mail, then go ahead and provide that address in its entirety there. For Section 5 is the city and county informed residents of Texas. For first-time voters, or if you're not moving anywhere, or you're not moving counties, then you would put N/A here for non-applicable. But yes, if you are moving within Texas counties, then you'll have to provide that former place that you were registered at. And then date of birth, so this is month, day, year format. Your gender is optional. Your telephone number is optional. If you have bad handwriting, go ahead and provide your telephone number. That way, if you have any questions, we can go ahead and help you out over the phone. And then we need your Texas driver's license number, Texas personal ID number, or the last 4 digits of your social security number provided there in Section 9. If you happen to not be issued these, you can check that box stating so. But if you are a U.S. citizen, chances are you do have one of these 3 things here to be filled out. And then, of course, we're going to sign it and provide the date that it was signed. So, yes, this is something that you can do. Just sign it, provide the date that you did sign it, and then, of course, you can mail it in. Or if you're filling it out with a volunteer deputy registrar, they can take it from you. Now, there is something that happened in September of 2025 is that we received a new voter registration application. So it's not in circulation yet. The old application will still be around, but sometimes towards the late end of this year, we'll maybe seeing this new application now. Now, all the information there is the same. So it is the same. It just looks a little different, but it's all the same information. One thing did change though, whereas the city and county of former residents in Texas, it now states previous residence address. So no matter any situation, wherever you were last registered to vote, we need that full previous residence address listed there in Section 6. Everything else is the same. We just need as much information from you as possible. We need all that required information filled out with, of course, the gender and the telephone number being optional. All right, so now we're going to vote. We're getting all this red stuff ready to go, getting you guys prepared. We want to make sure that you have a plan. So we're going to start off with getting registered to vote and then checking your voter registration status. So you must be registered 30 days before an election in Texas. So anywhere in Texas you happen to end up, you have to be registered 30 days before an election. And you have to re-register and update your info every time that you change addresses. So every time that you move, even if it's just down to the next building over, you would have to update your information. So yes, do keep that in mind every time as you go through life, every time that you move or change addresses, you do need to update your voter registration in order for you to take part in elections. And for Texas, that is 30 days before an election. We have an election deadline called the last day to register to vote. Oh, go ahead. So yes, the second one will be valid identification. We want to make sure that we have our valid identification whenever we go to the polls. We want to make sure we find out who we want to vote for, and we'll talk about sample ballots and doing research on this so you know your candidates and know the information available so that way you make decisive decisions for whenever you are at your polls. Where are you going to vote? Keep in mind you can vote anywhere, any polling location in Harris County that's important, or if you happen to not be in the area or you meet the requirements, you can then provide an absentee ballot or a ballot by mail. And then, of course, we want to make sure you either go vote during early voting or on election day, and make sure you make it fun, add it to your routine. That way you can go and do every election, and if possible. So yes, we're going to start with registering to vote. So yes, you fill out an application. You can visit your college. You can visit your local library. You can even visit a tax office to get one of these forms. Or if someone happens to be somewhere that you're at that's registering people to vote, go ahead and meet with that volunteer deputy registrar, and they can help you get registered to vote by filling out an application. You can also check your voter registration status on the Harris County Tax Office's website. It's hctax.net. There's a voter registration tab, and then you can go to voter registration search and then search your name to see where you're registered to vote, see if it's active so that you can go vote come election day. I would recommend doing this at least 30 days before the election, every single time, just in case if there's any issues, you know that you are actively registered to vote so that you can take part in it a month later. Another thing too is if you happen to move outside of Harris County, there is a voter registration status check for all of Texas, and it's called the My Voter Portal. It looks something like this. I have the QR code here listed on the screen. It asks you, are you registered? And then you provide the information. It will search the criteria and tell you which county that you are registered in and if you're actively registered in that particular county. Another thing that you can do to get registered to vote is whenever you go and renew your driver's license or identification cards. There's a box in section 2 that says, if you are a U.S. citizen, would you like to register to vote? And it says, if registered, would you like to update your voter registration information? So it'll take the information that you provide for the DPS and use that so that it helps you get registered to vote while filling out your renewal for your driver's license. Definitely check yes. Make sure you update your information every single time that you do so. We want to make sure you keep your registration updated so that you can take part in elections whenever you feel the need to. Now, valid identification, there's 7 options that you have. You have the Texas driver's license number, the Texas ID, your naturalization certificate, your passport, your license to carry handgun license, so your CDL. And then, of course, you have your Army, your military ID, as well as a state of Texas election certificate. So yes, you can get an ID straight from the Harris County Clerk's office so that you have a valid voting ID. So if you need some kind of photo ID so that you can actually go and go vote, then that is an option as well. You can just go visit them on Morales Road at their administration office, and you can get that certified to you. So yes, you need a photo ID, one of the 7 listed here. We want to make sure that you have this prepared, and that way you're ready to go, and make sure you bring this with you to the polls. Now we want to talk about find out who you want to vote for. So with every election, there will be a sample ballot available to you about 30 days prior. And this allows you to see what you, based on your address, is able to vote on. So there's a sample ballot that's listed there. You can either go to the voter tab and hit the what's on my ballot or click the sample ballot button. You'll put in your address or your name, and then it will pull up a thing for you to download and print off. Now, there are no electronic devices in polling locations, so you cannot bring your phone in to look up information while you're voting. This is why we recommend the sample ballot. You'll print it out beforehand, and you can see all the things that you will be voting on in that particular election. And that way you can make all your notes, you can choose who you want to vote for, and that way all the information is there on the papers that are provided to you when you print them out. Definitely utilize this. It's important to definitely, take the time to research different propositions. Sometimes they sweep by us really quick and we don't always catch them. So please make sure that you take the time to look and see what you're voting on and do your research while you're doing so. But yes, you cannot bring your phone into a polling location, but you can visit harrisvotes.com, which is the website you're seeing here. And this is where you get all your election information for Harris County. This is what your sample ballot will look like. It will something similar to this page. This is one from a previous election, but it's just to show you that it will have it in various languages, English, Spanish, Chinese, or Vietnamese, as well as what are the issues, what are the things that you can vote on, whether it's for or against, and that way you can make all your notes. That way you go up to the ballot to place your information electronically. You have this piece of paper so that you can write down and make all your choices ahead of time. Now, candidate and proposition information. This is great. So this is doing your research. Once you have your sample ballot, you can then go and figure out, you can do research on candidates. You can do research on propositions, what this actually means, and how does it affect you as the voter and the person that lives in that area. Vote 401 is great. So you select your state, you can even put in your zip code, and it will tell you all this information about your candidates, about the different propositions, anything that they plan on utilizing during the election. So we want to make sure that you know this. Vote 401 is great. It's definitely good information. It's all nonpartisan. So do keep it in mind. This is a great resource for you to find information. Ballotpedia is good. This is great to get some information on candidates. This is good to see what they've done in the past. So you can kind of get a gauge of their character, if they align with your values. And then the League of Women Voters. The League of Women Voters in Houston are great. They are absolutely a fantastic resource to have in this area. and people need to utilize them more. Every single election, they make a voter guide, something that they send out. It's all nonpartisan information, but they can actually, you can subscribe to their newsletter and they can send it to you digitally, or they can send it to you via mail. So if you have parents that are not really comfortable with using technology, they can actually get it sent to their home and they have a physical copy available to them. So yes, definitely utilize Legal Women Voters. They have their own website and it will have all this information, and it's all nonpartisan, so they do not pick a side. They're just here to provide you with the information so that you can make an informed decision. Now, where are you going to vote? Good news is in Harris County, we are blessed. We can vote anywhere in Harris County. So no matter where you happen to be, if you happen to be at the mall in the Galleria, you can go vote over there. If you happen to be over by the Clear Lake area, you can go vote over there. There are voting centers all over the place. The only thing to make note of is that early voting locations and election day voting locations may differ. Sometimes they're an early voting location, and then you plan on going on election day, and they will not be a voting center for you to actually go vote at. So yes, it may differ depending on if they're early voting or election day. Sometimes they remain the same, but you have to check for this in every election. So what we have here is I did it for your San Jac North area. For early voting locations, your closest one will be the North Channel Library down Wallaceville Road. Then if you're closer to Baytown, it will be the J.D. Walker Community Center. If you're northwest from here, you'll be Kashmir Multi-Service Center. You can go. If you're south, there's the John Phelps Courthouse and Baker Ripley House off Navigation. And if you happen to be over in the San Jac South area, then there is the Scarsdale Annex, which is just down the road from you guys, and you can go and vote there for early voting. So yes, there is tons of places, but you'll have to go and find which one's closest to you, depending on what your plans are for that day. Early voting is usually about 10 to 14 days before the election. So if you're already got actively registered to vote, then of course you can go and vote during early voting and skip the big lines come election day. For election day, for this area in particular, that'll once again be the North Channel Library, the Felix Balltree Community Center, just a little bit southeast of us from here, the Flukinger Community Center, and then we have the HCC Northeast Campus. And then if you happen to be in the south, towards San Jac South, then of course that Scarsdale Annex right there, right next to your college, where you can go and take part in voting during election day. Now, whenever you go to this website, you see that there is a Vote Center tab. This is where you can find that information available and the ability to toggle between early voting and election day. So definitely make sure that if you go, hey, I'm going to go vote during early voting, you go to the early voting tab. And if you go, hey, I'm going to go vote on election day, you make sure you switch it over to the election day tab so that you have the accurate information for your vote centers. Once again, this website is harrisvotes.com. This is a place where you'd find your sample ballots, you find any information regarding Harris County elections and your vote centers. All this great information is available on one website. For the tax office where I'm representing, we only handle the voter registration side of things. But I wanted to make sure to provide you with this information as well. Definitely utilize the information. It is all nonpartisan. All of this is just to keep you informed so that you can make accurate decisions and you make informed decisions whenever you actually do go to vote. So yes, that'll be the Vote Center tab right there where you can find your nearest location, but I have them listed here if you happen to already know the area. So yes, you can definitely get planned for the primaries. The next thing, go make it fun. Go vote. Make it fun. Include it in your daily plans. It doesn't have to be, this big awkward event. If you happen to be going to the mall or if you happen to be going to see a movie with friends, why not go and stop and go vote and then go see a nice movie? Or go vote and then go have a nice dinner with your mom. That's what you can do. Bring friends, bring family, make it a fun thing that you can go do. It doesn't have to take long. Maybe it'll take 20 minutes. Maybe it'll take an hour of your time. But you'll have your voice heard in this democratic process, and you'll be able to make these changes and see the changes that you want to make in your community. I will always recommend that you go vote in every election. Typically, there's around 4 elections every year. People always they go vote once every 4 years for the presidential election because it makes all these national changes, but then they don't really see the changes that are happening in their area. I will always recommend you vote in those local elections where you can actually see the changes that are going to affect you in your day-to-day life. Anything as far as construction projects, anything as far as funding for school, all of this is things that people in your local area vote on, and you need to be starting and joining us in that voting process. So yes, vote in every single election if possible. Typically, there's about 4 every year. We want to make sure that you guys are voting in these local elections so that you can make the impact in the community that you want to see. So definitely do not vote just once every 4 years. Make sure you vote every year and in every election if possible. So here's the upcoming elections. We got the primaries coming up. So that's Tuesday, March 3rd. If you're already actively registered to vote, and you can check your status on hjctax.net, our first day of early voting is today. So it is Tuesday, February 17th through the 27th. So definitely go out and take part in early voting if you can. If not, go ahead and do it on election day. Show your pride. And yes, so the election day is Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. We have an election. It's the entity election, so that's the local election. That's where I want to see all you guys at. Make sure you get all registered to vote. Take the time to go out and get registered to vote today, or definitely, come to your college and do it as well. And you can do Saturday, May 2nd. There'll be the local elections. Definitely take part of those. Those are the ones that are going to actually see the change in. And then Tuesday, May 26th will be the primary runoff. We may even have our uniform runoff in June. We just don't know yet. And then Tuesday, November 3rd is that big election that we have in November. So yes, I want to make sure. So yeah, for the Tuesday, March 3rd, that's where they vote on some candidates for the Democrats and the Republicans. And then the runoff will then decide the 2 candidates that will go to be voted on in November. So it's like a trickle-down situation. A lot of people use the Super Bowl acronym, where basically you have a bunch of teams and it whittles down to 2, and then those 2 go to the Super Bowl. That's what it is for these primaries elections. So you have all these different candidates they vote on, and then they can't make an accurate decision. Maybe they need 51% of the vote, and then the primary runoff comes around, and then they get that. There's only 2 left, and then it goes to the November elections, where each party's person has a chance to be voted on for that candidate. So take part in the primary. This is important. If you do your research, take the time in your day. It would be 20 minutes a day. Just do some research. You don't always have to read the news, but just takes that nonpartisan information from Vote 411, the Legal Women Voters, even Ballotpedia, and take some time to find out what values are strong for you and who you actually want to vote for. Now let's talk about making an impact in our community. One thing that we can do is we can do the Volunteer Deputy Registrar training, also known as a VDR. So VDRs are entrusted with the responsibility of officially registering individuals to vote in the state of Texas. They are appointed by the county voter registrar after completing an in-person or virtual training. Yes, for Harris County, you can take a 1-hour virtual or in-person training, and you are able to be deputized so you can help with voter registration in Harris County. It's great. I facilitate the trainings. We do about 9 a week virtually on Zoom. So yes, on our website, hjctax.net, or with that QR code there, we'll take you directly to it, where you can RSVP for one of those virtual trainings. It's great. It's at your own pace. So if you just want to be the one person to help your family keep their voter registration updated, you're more than welcome to. Or if you want to be the one person at San Jac North and start a group so that you can start building civic engagement over here at San Jac North, you can all get deputized so you can help with voter registration on your campus. That way everyone's up to date. You can provide nonpartisan information. You can make sure everyone's registered to vote. So definitely take the opportunity to do so and have some civic engagement for your school. But yes, it's great. And then so you just take that 1-hour virtual or in-person training, and then of course you'll receive your packet in the mail in 5 to 10 business days from that date, and then you can start registering Harris County residents to vote. This is what our training schedule looks like. So it's usually Monday 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m., Wednesday 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m., Friday 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and Saturday 10 a.m. with 9 trainings per week. Sometimes it varies depending on our schedule. But yes, you'll go to our website, scroll down to the bottom to the Volunteer Deputy Registrars on the voter registration tab, and there will be these trainings where you can RSVP for. You'll fill out your information, and we'll provide you with this Zoom link so that you can take part in that training. It's 1 hour. You just got to listen to me talk, answer some polling questions, and at the end, once you stay the entirety of the training, boom, you are deputized in. So it's really not that bad, and it allows you to help out with voter registration, may even build some college resume credits if you plan on furthering your education after San Jac. So yes, definitely come join the fun. All walks of life are VDRs. You may know some people in your daily life that are actually volunteer deputy registrars, and they take time out of their day to go to libraries, they go to schools, they go to colleges, they even go to restaurants and coffee shops to help get people registered to vote. It's really fun. We work with them all the time, and we have always have a great time doing so. Another thing too, if you happen to be in a student-led organization here on campus, have us attend your meetings or events. We're happy to attend football games, any sort of student clubs. We're helping to provide those voter registration means, those resources from our county, and we can even give you election dates and all this great information. We do so much for the county. We want to do it for you guys here at San Jac North and San Jac South, San Jac Central, all the San Jac locations. So definitely make sure if you need us, you're more than welcome to reach out to us, and we will absolutely make time to do so. Another thing I want to talk about too. So if you have time in your day, maybe you need a little extra money. There's election clerks that you can become. Yes, you can fill an application on the election worker tabs on harrisvotes.com, and you can become an election worker. You can work during early voting or on election day, and you can make 17 an hour. It's a nice gig. It's a long days, but it's only for about 3 weeks. So it's definitely a lot of fun. You can learn in the back behind the scenes of working for elections and make some money on the side. Now, if you have a younger brother or sister, good news is there's a student election clerk that they can become, which you're seeing here on the screen, and they get an excused absence from school, a letter of a recommendation for college from the Harris County Elections Administrator. So yes, this is great information. You can do some work with your brother or sister and make some money both together and have fun doing so. So yes, it's great work, long hours, but it's only a temporary position for about 3 weeks. And you can do it for any election. So yes, we got at least 4 elections you become. So if you can't do it for the primaries, maybe you can do it for the one in November. Now, to sum it all up, you need to be actively registered to vote 30 days before Election Day in Texas. So yes, always check, I would say 6 weeks before the election day. Go ahead and check your voter registration status. Make sure it's active, make sure it's up to date, make sure there's no issues. And that way, if it's not, you can have the time to fix it before that voter registration deadline, that last day to register to vote for applicants. Check your voter registration status before the deadline to keep them updated with current information. Yes, make sure you're always updating your information. Make sure you update it every time that you change addresses. If you get married or change your name, make sure you update information. Or if you receive any sort of information that applies to voter registration, make sure you fill out an application and provide that new information. You will receive your voter registration certificate in the mail every even numbered year. So yes, those that are already registered to vote may have already received it at that address where they were registered at. So yes, I have received mine. So yes, it does come in the mail. It takes about 6 weeks from the start of the year. But yes, 2026 will be the year that you'll be receiving your voter registration certificate. That's something that you can definitely bring to the polls with you as well, but along with your photo ID that we talked about, those 7 choices. And then talk to your friends and family about voter registration and the importance of voting. Yes, it's okay. We can talk to our friends and family. We can see why it's important to us, see why it's important to the people of Harris County. So definitely, make it an issue, make it a topic of discussion. It doesn't have to be political. It just has to be why is it important to vote. So you can remain nonpartisan in these conversations. It's just a matter of, talking about why you should actually go out and vote. It's very important to have these conversations because some people feel otherwise, and maybe you need to hear their side too. So yes, definitely, it's always good to have a nice open dialogue about this, and it doesn't have to get political. And then, of course, help your community keep up to date with current affairs. Yes, if you plan to help out with this community, some people don't know about upcoming elections, so definitely share the information. I've met several people in the last couple of weeks that weren't aware that elections were coming up this year. They thought, oh, there's only an election once every 4 years. So definitely talk with people, keep your community up to date with current affairs in the area. If you have anything as far as HOA, super neighborhood clubs, oh, if they're doing any new construction in the area, talk with people about it. Keep your community updated about it. It's important that you do so, and definitely be the voice and to let people know I do it for my family. We talk about certain things in our area so that we are all up to date with our current affairs that are in our communities. Become a volunteer registrar and assist with your community with voter registration. Yes, take that 1 hour virtual training, listen to me talk, answer some polling questions, and you can help your family get registered to vote. And that way you can keep them updated with current affairs, keep their voter registration updated. Or if you want to just do it for your community as well, or do it for your college, you're more than welcome to do so. And it's completely at your own pace. So whatever length or extent that you want to help with voter registration, you can. And you can always contact us and we'll help you along the way as well. Think of also becoming an election worker. If you need some extra cash on the side, do a 3-week gig with your brother or sister that's in high school. That's something that can be done as well. So yes, this is a great way for you guys to make an impact in your community, help with elections, help with voter registration. And then have us come to your meetings and events to better assist your community and provide the resources. So yes, you are attending any clubs, maybe student-led clubs, or you need us for the school, you need us in your neighborhoods. Let us know. We're happy to come. We're happy to provide those resources. We're happy to talk with people and get them engaged with voting as well as making sure they're all registered to vote. Now, this is the main one that I like, is become knowledgeable voters and build the habit of voting every year and in every election as possible. Yes, a lot of people go and they vote and they don't really understand what they're voting for. So just definitely take the time to actually do your research and see how this will affect you. So if it doesn't, if you may look like something on the surface, take the time to do the research and dig deep and see how this thing that you are voting on will affect you or affect your community or the people you care about. So definitely take the time to become informed, stay informed, become knowledgeable voters, and vote in every election. Build the habit. It's not about once every 4 years. It's about for every year. That's what we want to see. We want to see you actively voting in your community and making the changes that you want to see. Build the future that you want to see in Harris County, in Channelview, in Pasadena, wherever you happen to be now, as well as wherever you happen to be in the future. Build the habit of voting in every election. Yes, we want to make sure that you guys understand that really clear. Don't vote every 4 years in the national election. Vote every year for every single election because things change and they happen quick. And we need you guys to be voting in these elections so you can make accurate changes and reflect what the people represent. I want to say thank you. So yes, our website is actax.net. Our email is tax.vdvr@tax.actx.net. The voter registration line. If you have any issues, you can call 713-274-8200. Our VDR support line. So if you want to take that training, we can help you out. Or if you want us to come to any of your meetings, your schools, your events, your neighborhoods, give us a call at 713-274-8387. We're happy to help you. And yes, this is all thanks to Annette Ramirez, our Harris County Tax Assessor Collector and Voter Registrar. She's doing wonderful work to make sure that you guys stay informed in elections and voter registration, as well as for people that own property for property taxes and vehicle registration on the yearly. So yes, please take the time to, give us a call. Definitely check your voter registration. Make sure you're all ready to go, and please go vote come every single election that we have this year. We have 4 coming up. I want to see you guys at every single election. Thank you guys, and hope you have a great rest of your day.